Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in another video today into the Houston Rockets have signed Isaiah Crawford to a two-way contract. Isaiah Crawford played 15 games with the Sacramento Kings last year, but barely played. He only played 3 minutes per game last season with the Sacramento Kings. He only played 46 minutes per game, only got 11 shots up with Sacramento last season. So you can look at it and say, oh, he only averaged 1 point. But actually shot almost 50% from the floor, shooting 5 for 11, just barely shot, barely played. But, look, with this being a two-way contract signing for the Rockets, I don't really look at this deal and say, he's going to be a guy that's going to play a lot for the Rockets, but he could be someone who could show them some young promise and maybe be not much of a help to the Rockets in their, with their squad, but maybe help the Rockets G League, the Vipers, out. He could help them out a lot. But Isaiah Crawford actually played solid in the G League last year in his first year in the G League. Played 24 games for the Kings G League team, the Stockton Kings, and averaged 13 points per game, shooting 50% from the floor and a very good 45% from three. He also averaged 3 assists per game. So I think he could be someone who could be a solid addition for the Rockets G League team, the Vipers. The Rockets also signed J.D. Davidson, who averaged 26 points per game in the G League last season for the Boston Celtics G League team. Has been with the Celtics the last 3 seasons. I think those are 2 guys who could be very good additions for the Rockets G League Vipers team. And then not only that, but just be solid players for the Rockets to have as two-way contract guys. Look, the Rockets, 2 of their 3, two-way contract guys that they had at the end of the season are gone. David Roddy was traded to the Hawks in the Kevin Durant-Clint Capella trade, and he has since then been waived by the Hawks and signed with the Toronto Raptors. And Jack McVay, one of the other guys, was, he did not accept. Or the Rockets did not accept his qualifying offer. He went into unrestricted free agency instead of restricted free agency, which I think really means the Rockets are very unlikely to re-sign him. I think if the Rockets wanted to bring him back, they probably would have made him a restricted free agent. And so with 2-8, and N'Faly Dante is still with the Rockets on a 2-way deal. So if the Rockets want to potentially, or they're going to have to add in 2 two-way contracts guys, because there are 3 eligible 2-way contract guys to have on a team. They needed to add some guys in next to N'Faly Dante, and Isaiah Crawford and J.D. Davidson are those guys. And these are guys that are going to spend a lot of time in the G League, most likely, with the Rockets having a great roster. So we know these are guys that can perform well for the Vipers. And if they can really do well for the Vipers, if the Rockets, God forbid, have some injury problems. Look, if there are some injury problems for the Rockets next year, J.D. Davidson is the guy that can step up. I'd look at J.D. Davidson as a more impactful signing for the Rockets because he's a guy who's been in the league for a while. Look, Isaiah Crawford is barely experienced. He's only heading into his 2nd year of experience, but Davidson's heading into his 4th. And the Rockets, I would say one of their most weakest position is the point guard position, in my opinion. I think they're not bad at the point guard position, but you look at it everywhere else, they're stacked. Like at the shooting guard, not the shooting guard, not so much, but the forward positions and the center position, there should be no problems for the Rockets. But the guard position at point guard and shooting guard, that's where you might need some help down the road. Like if God forbid Fred gets banged up, that's where you look at it with J.D. Davidson and maybe he could get opportunities, but honestly I would doubt it. But let me know your thoughts on the potential, or not the potential, the signing for the Rockets bringing in Isaiah Crawford. That's the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and peace out.